Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. 4 years ago, my 28 females' life completely fell apart because of my sister, 31 female. During a family dinner, she casually told my then fiance that I had been easy in college and had supposedly slept with over 100 men. This wasn't remotely true. I had only been with 2 partners before meeting him. But the damage was done. My fiancé and I had a huge argument. He didn't believe me. His main argument was that my parents, who were there at the table, did not say a word to refute her lies. They just sat there silently, which made it seem like they were silently agreeing with her. After that, he broke off the engagement, and I was left completely devastated. I was nearly suicidal during that time. My sister's excuse? She claimed I didn't deserve such a man, and that she was doing him a favor. This wasn't the first time she had caused chaos in my life. She had a long history of doing things like this, and my parents have always looked the other way. A few examples. She once told my best friend that I was mocking her ADHD behind her back, which led to a huge falling out. My friend and I didn't speak for over a year before we finally cleared things up. When we were kids, she would steal my belongings and claim she didn't know where they were, only to find them later, and act like she was doing me a favor. She would deliberately pick fights with other family members and then play the victim, always managing to avoid any kind of responsibility. After the breakup, I realized I couldn't handle the toxic environment anymore. I decided to cut contact with my sister and eventually went low contact with my parents as well, since they never stood up for me. It was hard at first, but I finally started to heal and rebuild my life without them. Fast forward to last week, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize, and to my surprise, it was my mom. She told me that my sister is in legal trouble. Apparently, she vandalized a neighbor's property by removing some boulders they had placed to prevent her from parking and blocking their driveway. Now, the neighbors are suing her, and my mom called asking me to help pay for a lawyer for my sister. I asked why they couldn't hire a lawyer themselves, and my mom told me it's because it was too expensive. The retainer is $3,000, which they're struggling to come up with. When I said no point blank, my mom was aghast. She asked why I didn't care that my sister would go to jail. I said I didn't care, and that I would just turn the other way like they did all their lives. Since then, I've been receiving messages from both my mom and dad, saying things like they raised me better, and you need to do this one thing for us. I'm at a point in my life where I refuse to allow my sister's behavior to derail me again. She's always had this pattern of creating messes and expecting our parents to clean them up. I don't want to get involved. It's about time her actions catch up with her. What do you all think? Update. So, my sister officially received a summons from the neighbors about the vandalism, and my mom sent me a photo of it. Now my whole family is in full panic mode. They're scrambling to put together funds to pay the retainer for a lawyer, and of course, I'm being blamed a lot for not contributing. Apparently because I have a stable job and have saved money, which for the record I worked my ass off for, they think I have a responsibility to bail my sister out. I have already told them no, but the pressure is relentless. I've been getting non-stop messages and calls telling me how selfish I'm being and how this isn't the time to be petty. It's honestly exhausting. I'm trying to stay strong in my decision not to get involved, but the guilt trips are getting heavier. They're acting like if I don't step in, I'm basically abandoning my sister to fend for herself. Meanwhile, she's the one who got herself into this mess, and they refuse to see that she has a pattern of behavior that's never been addressed because they always swoop in to save her. The whole situation is just insane to me. I can't believe that even now, after everything she's done, including wrecking my engagement, they still expect me to step in and fix her problems. The emotional manipulation is at an all-time high, and it feels like they're all trying to guilt me into backing down. Any advice on how to deal with this would be really helpful. Thanks again for listening. I'm sorry you have a sister like this in your life, OP. She sounds like a terrible person through and through. She ruined your engagement and your parents had nothing to say about it. Your parents suck just as much as she does. I don't blame you for not wanting to give them money to get your sister a lawyer. You would be a saint to want to help her out with this after everything she has done to you. Your parents need to stop helping her dig herself into a big hole because that's what they're doing by continuing to enable her bad behavior. I would advise you to block every single one of them so you won't get any of their messages and you can move on with your life. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for refusing to talk about some topics with my brother and girlfriend and in general? I, 26 male, have been having this argument lately both with my girlfriend and brother, who are both similar ages to me. They are the people I see the most since we don't really socialize much these days. But they say this is more like an a-hole quality rather than a single instance, and think I need to work on it for other people as well. Basically, my girlfriend loves ghosts and monsters and wacky lore. She says she knows they aren't real, but she watches documentaries and reads books and listens to podcasts about supernatural stuff all the time, and then tries to tell me about them. Sometimes she tries to make me respond and ask things like, what if reincarnation could be real? What would you think you did in a past life? Or, some people say there is a sea creature living in the town lake, and let's have a picnic to go monster spotting there. Just recent examples, but there is so much more. And I just tell her that I am intentionally not responding because the whole topic is stupid, and I don't want to encourage it. It's fine if she wants to think about it by herself, but don't drag me into it because it's weird to me. I ask her to pause or stop those things when we are in the same room because I just hate it. Then sometimes she gets mad because she feels like I'm making fun of her. But I'm not. I'm just not interested in responding to that stuff. That is honestly delusional. My brother also gets mad at me for not talking. He teaches at a university and has way more education than me. Sometimes when we kick back, he says things like, I saw the coolest paper yesterday, and tries to explain it, but it is all nonsense to me, so I shut it down and say I don't want to talk about his work. It's not something I can understand. No hate, and I'm sure he finds it interesting, but it makes me feel like I'm in a class trying to study. He said it's kind of rude if I can talk about work, but he can't. But it's different, because I'm literally just a cook at a common restaurant and everybody understands concepts like food and social interactions. It isn't like I'm saying things to make him feel stupid like he makes me feel. Anyway, they both say that people aren't allowed to veto topics of conversation, and it makes me an a-hole if I just refuse to respond to some stuff sometimes. I disagree because you shouldn't be forced to talk about stuff that doesn't interest you. Nobody should. I don't think I would mind if they did it to me either. What do you all think? I think you're the a-hole, OP. The whole point of being in a relationship with someone is sharing your interests with them. Your girlfriend isn't shoving her interest down your throat. She's just sharing with you what she finds fascinating. Why? Because you're her partner. This also means that even if you don't like anything about what she's talking about or you find it stupid, you should still let her talk about it and play along. Just have a conversation about it with her because it makes her happy. Simple. About your brother, I don't think his plan is to make you feel dumb. He also just wants to share his day and work with you. Just like you do when you talk about cooking. Even if you don't understand anything he's saying, you should still listen and let him talk. It's basic decency, OP. Go learn it. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. It's common decency to let people talk about things they are interested in. You're being rude, and especially considering it's people close to you. Whether I'm particularly interested or not in a topic a friend is talking about, I love to see them enthused and to be someone they want to share their stuff with. You're making them feel like only your life and interests matter to you, not theirs. You're the a-hole. It's not hard to give someone 10 minutes of your day to let them ramble about their interests. I'm 100% sure you have something to talk about that your girlfriend and brother don't understand a word about, or just find it stupid. As you put it, but they listen anyway because it makes you happy to talk about. My boyfriend loves all sorts of stuff I don't really understand. Just as I have topics he considers kinda weird. And you know what we do? We let each other talk because we love each other. Definitely you're the a-hole. I ask my husband every day about work and he does some. Well, I don't know exactly what he does, but something to do with APs and Wi-Fis, and he explains all these technical problems he has to deal with the day. I have no idea what's going on, but I can listen and repeat back and ask questions, which is what you do in a relationship. And what do you mean you don't want to encourage your interests? What the F? That is not supportive at all of your girlfriend. Regarding the brother, it sounds like you're just allowing your own insecurities to get in the way. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for preferring to watch a movie with my younger daughter instead of my older? My oldest daughter, 23 female, has been moping around the house for the past 8 months. She finished her master's in June and had gotten a job in her field, but that offer got cancelled because of COVID in March, so she had to move back home. She then got another job in the summer, but lost it after 2 months because the company, a startup, went bankrupt. So she's been working full-time at the grocery store and moping around my house, being all depressed in her spare time. She keeps talking about how screwed her generation is, how it's the worst year of her life and how the world is on fire and is getting exhausting. This month is even worse because her boyfriend broke up with her. She didn't tell me why, but I'm assuming it's because he's also tired of her complaining all the time. To be clear, I'm a supportive dad. I paid for her master's, but I do not appreciate negative energy in my house and want to live in a positive and optimistic environment, so we've had some clashes. By contrast, my younger daughter, 14 female, is a positive and optimistic kid who's been making the best of a bad situation. She looks for positives in everything and doesn't mind the hybrid in-person and online schooling. It's no secret then that I prefer to spend time with her instead of my older daughter. For the past week, my older daughter has been suggesting we watch the movie Contagion for family movie night. She's been asking every day, but my wife and I have been busy. Last night, we finally decided to watch, but my younger daughter said the movie doesn't look interesting to her, so she won't watch it with us. She wanted to watch 12 Monkeys instead. I told my older daughter that we should watch 12 Monkeys then, so everyone can watch together. But she got offended and said she won't watch it with us. I said that's fine by me. I would rather spend time with her sister anyways because she's not a sad, draining mop. Maybe kinda mean, but after 8 months of the hell of having her in my house, it just spilled over. She was crying for the rest of the night in her room, and my wife still won't speak to me for alienating her. Again, I'm supportive. I paid for her schooling and I keep telling her she just needs to chin up and accept the situation and look for the positives. I just prefer to spend my time with the kid who doesn't drain my energy like a vampire. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. I think your younger daughter didn't lose 2 jobs and a boyfriend and had to move back in with her parents after living on her own. Why wouldn't she be happier? Also, I don't like having negativity in my household. What the F is up with that? You're trying to ban negativity during a global pandemic and economic collapse. Good luck with that. You're the a-hole and you are not a supportive dad. Your older daughter is suffering and all you can do is sketch about what a bummer she is. You're the a-hole. If you want to see your older daughter after she moves out in the future, I suggest you apologize and make time for her. And while you may be financially supportive of her, you are, in no uncertain terms, extremely lacking in all other aspects of being supportive. Do you help her apply for other jobs? Do you do fun things with her that she likes? Do you spend any one-on-one time with her at all? I could go on, but I get the feeling you've already stopped reading after the "you're the a-hole," so why bother? You're the a-hole. Holy shit. Have some empathy. Of course, the child mostly unaffected by the crisis is more optimistic. Have you ever thought about what it must be like to be your daughter, to have job opportunities taken away from her, and then have to live in your home under your rules when she wants independence? And on top of that, the confidant and person she's closest to broke up with her and abandoned her in a time of need. Yes, complaining is bad, but did you even ask if she needs to see someone? She might be depressed and needs a therapist to complain to. Her crying is a cry for help.